Right, hello everyone, and welcome to our CFS special on Sunday, July 27th, 2025. So on Sundays we go through all four of the past CFS runs, and we just run them through into the winter time. Today gets us to January 9th and 10th, and we see what they show for the next few months. Obviously, this is just for fun. It's a Sunday, so it's just for laughs. Take it a bit easy. So CFS last night's 18Z, so let's see what it shows. Okay, so in the start of August, we look a bit warmer and drier for a time. Yeah, so summer is back in August, if that's correct. Bit thundery there for a time as well. Mid-month looking a bit more showery and wet and breezy and a bit cooler as well. But it's not long before the Azure side comes back in and we go more warm and maybe a bit volatile as well by the third week of August. Towards month's end, we stay very warm, quite dry as well, with the Azure side doing decent work. September starts off warm, very warm, or even hot, with southerly winds. But it does break down quite quickly to bring in a northerly wind by the 5th. We keep going through, quite dry and warm again by the 9th of the month. We stay dry and warm, really, for the most part. Some wetter days in there until mid-month, before we go into a sudden cold snap, cooler snap there, just after mid-month. Then going positively autumnal by the final third of the month there, with deep areas of low pressure pushing in from the west. So spells of rain and strong winds. So now, last week we saw all four of the runs showing a warm and dry October, with the Azure side persistently coming over us. Let's see what happens here. Well, 18Z run not really showing that. A bit warmer and drier there around the 5th and 6th of the month, but that's only temporary, and it's quickly broken down by deep lows from the west. So very wet October here, shown by the CFS 18Z from last night. Halloween looks a bit cooler, more showery, with winds in with winds in from northwest. So also, last week's CFS run showed some decent cold snaps and cold spells through November and December. At least most of them. Well, all the runs had at least one cold month in there, be it December or November, and some runs had both months cold. So let's see what today's runs have to show. So last night's 18Z run shows it's starting off wet and windy, but we put up the Azure side for a time temporarily. So drier into the second week of the month there, with possibly frost by night, but overall that is quite a mild pattern there. Jet stream is to the north. Mid-month looking a bit chillier maybe, with easterly winds, southeasterly winds of the continent. Upper temperatures though are probably quite mild with that. Yeah, they are. Possibly frost by night, but otherwise, it's nothing too exciting. Going more wet and windy there around mid-month. Now, we're seeing high pressure to the north, so let's see what happens there. So we do get a cold snap towards the end of the month there. But it's only temporary, before by the 28th, we're into these very warm southwesterly winds. Starting off December with wet and windy weather. It stays wet and windy though through the first week of the month. Same thing through mid-month there, wet and windy, mild wet and windy, briefly colder towards the 19th, back into mild weather by quite quickly after that. Although bit of colder zonality by Christmas Eve, with the -5 ice coming through, so maybe some wintry showers, but by Christmas Day, I think it's getting a bit less cold. Okay, Christmas on this is a bit chilly, but not classically cold. A few winter showers, frosty at night, but otherwise, it's westerly. Through into the period between Christmas and New Year, we're wet and windy, deep lows coming through the country. There, southwesterly winds, a lot of rain and showers. New Year's Day looks to be wet. And yeah, so this is pretty disappointing. Just a classic westerly run. Right, so here is the midnight run from this morning. So once again, we're looking dry and warm, maybe in August, hopefully. Yes, we do get there. It stays that way really until around the 17th. That might bring in a thundery breakdown before it gets cooler, more showery for a time. Then the pressure does break through until late month when we see the Azure side coming back in, but still not over us. Probably quite cloudy, but still some bright spells around. September starts off quite warm, but some thunderstorms could be moving up from the south. Beyond that, it goes cooler with some northerly winds. Then we just go very wet and windy really through September until the 23rd, where it's warm and drier again. Let's see what happens in October. So October starts off warm and dry. It doesn't last because by mid-month we go into a westerly airflow, but it comes back beyond. It does come back beyond mid-month though. So interestingly, we do see a lot of high pressure through October on this run. By Halloween, we look wet and windy. November starts off looking quite chilly and showery with northwesterly winds. Beyond that, high pressure through the country, probably quite frosty and a bit cold at times. And again, by the 20th of the month, we're going into a northerly winds. Another northerly by 25th. What's happening here? Just these northerly winds in November bring really quite cold air for the time of year. Actually, that's quite cold. Into December, we start off west and windy, and oh god, we're back into a cold snap there. Cold spell by the 7th of the month, repeatedly blocking to the north and northerly winds plunging in, and so yes, bitterly cold there in early December. A bit milder there by the 11th as the high does topple in, but no, we're not out the woods yet. By the 14th, we're quite chilly. And let's see, we get high pressure towards Scandinavia. Not a classic Scandi because the winds are still more southeasterly, so upper temperatures aren't as cold as they could be. And either way, it's about to break down as we see mild air push up from the southwest coming towards Christmas. Having said that, it fails, and by Christmas Day itself, I think we're going colder. Yes, we are, so probably frosty for Christmas Day under that high pressure system. Towards the new year, we go more easterly. Upper temperatures are going very cold there, possibly. Midnight on New Year's Day, maybe a bit wintry in the north. Again, all for speculation, all for fun. And the first bit of January looks cold and frosty. The first one, dismal. This one, better. This one actually has elements of the trend from last week. Both the October having quite a lot of high pressure and the December and November having quite a lot of cold snaps. CFS 6Z run. 6Z, once again, through the end of July, start of August. Bit westy at times. Or actually, we don't bring summer back here. We bring in a northerly. We bring autumn in. Oh dear. Through this part of the month. Will we get there? No, we don't. Will we get there? A bit warmer by the 23rd, but that's a long way off, and that's still wet. So the CFS 6Z does not bring summer back in August. Oh dear. September looks westerly, and it just stays westerly, wet and windy through the month, does it? Yeah, it does, pretty much. A lot of low pressure, very wet August and September combination, if that's right. If this is correct, autumn starts now, unfortunately. October, high pressure, until the 5th, where we see an active cold front coming through the country, and heavy rain, followed by a colder air mass. Let's see. Into the second week of the month, it goes briefly warmer for a time as well, but then quickly goes wet and windy. Let's see what happens here. So coming towards the end of the month, and it stays westerly, quite wet and windy, strong westerly winds. Halloween looking a bit cooler actually, more showery. November looking starting off wet and windy with westerly winds, strong jet stream, plenty of areas of low pressure. upper temperatures, a bit miles, really. Brief cold snap around the 9th of the month, and we go through here, mid-month, looking wet, windy, westerly winds, mild and dry by the 18th, 19th, 20th. Let's see, are we going cold there by month's end? Upper temperatures, not really, but more easterly components of the wind flow. That high pressure has to be further north to get a proper easterly. December starts off looking mild, wet, and windy. Let's see. Do we get that? Okay, so this run has a lot of high pressure to the east, but it's just not strong enough and not in the right place to bring in that cold air. You see deep cold pull towards like southern Russia and into Kazakhstan. Oh, and I mean that's the first time I've mentioned that country on the channel, I think. But it is on the chart here. It is there. And we go through, maybe a bit colder by the 10th, but that's short-lived. So we go back to wet and windy weather. Christmas, exceptionally mild. Azores high, reaching into, well, actually, that's not the Azores high, that's a Central European high. And we see, you can see that very mild air mass, the plus 10 Celsius isotherm over us by the 27th. So that's really, really mild. We end the month still mild and dry. If this high pressure is over us for a while, that would end up bringing frost and fog, but that's really mild technically. And yeah, so this is a write-off. Both summer and winter. Summer, like August, looks horrible. September looks horrible. October looks horrible. It's just all westerly. This one had one factor that went for it, in the fact that August was nice, but this has nothing to say for itself. Right, ending off with the CFS 12Z. 12Z CFS looking like this. So again, okay, so good start. Summer does come back through the first part of August here. It stays warm and dry right up to mid-month, where we do get more thundery, I think, but still quite warm. It probably goes more westerly around the 20th, but that is short-lived. We're back to warm and dry weather by the 21st or 2nd of the month, and a bit thundery as well. But the month ends on a cooler and wet spell. September starts wet and windy, westerly winds. Some dry spells coming through here and there as well, but in general it's a westerly month until mid-month, should I say, where it is properly warm and dry. That is also does ridge in. Yeah, so quite a decent September here. Some dry spells and warm spells alternating with cooler and also wet spells as well. A classic September, really. The Azores high fighting for a chance to survive against low pressure systems. October, starting off warm and dry. Oops, what have I done? Oh dear. Where are we? We're in October. There. So, what have I done? Okay, there we go. October, starting off warm and dry. Bit wetter, but still quite warm around the 7th there. Mid-month looking more wet and windy, properly wet and windy. Back to big high pressure system by the 20th. So, and by the 25th, we're going to actually a big cold northerly. Could see some early I've done that again. We could see some early season winteriness with that, if that is correct. Yeah. Halloween looking very mild, southerly winds, and so on. Starting off November looking mild and dry. Oh, another northerly with the CFS. Again, that would bring some winteriness, I think, given the cold air that comes through. It stays cold to mid-month, and by that stage it does go more southerly, wet and windy. Easterly winds around 21st. I think that would bring some decently cold air, and go back into a northerly again by the 24th. Unfortunately, this run does not go as far as December, but I think that this is with the earlier midnight run, in the sense that October is looking warm and dry, and it's bringing in the cold spells through November and probably also into December as well. So Summed up, 18Z, decently warm August and also September as well. But other than that, a westerly. Winter's a letdown. Now the midnight run is great. Nice warm August to come. Summer comes back, and also proper winter weather as well. 6Z is a write-off in all ways, and 12Z is also like the 6Z. Decent summer weather to come still, and also winter looking quite spicy. Obviously, all for fun. This probably won't verify in any way, shape, or form, so just watch the space. Great, I'll see you. Bye for now.